So there are many things that can contribute to your level of confidence, happiness, and overall well-being. It's not one contributor, it's not one thing that's really going to determine it all, but rather the combination of so many factors. But I do think that there's one really strong and key contributor to how you feel, and that is your self-talk, your mental dialogue, what you tell yourself on a day-to-day basis. So let me ask you this question. What do you tell yourself on a day-to-day basis? From the moment you wake up, you try something new, when there's a challenge or an obstacle in front of you, when you're about to do something that you really fear, when your crush is approaching and you want to talk to her, but you don't know what to say, when you're about to make a goal and you're working towards achieving it. Are you bringing yourself down? Are you telling yourself things that are negative? Are you bringing yourself up? Are you encouraging yourself? Are you telling yourself you can, you will? Or are you bringing yourself down? We face challenges and problems every day, both at work, in our professional life, in our personal lives. And on top of that, it doesn't help that we are also our own worst critics, both during our best moments in our lives and our worst moments in our lives. We're gonna have our doubts. The negative self-talk and thoughts that we have can be really detrimental to us in the long run. We see and call the things about ourselves that only we know of and that we dislike. And what happens is that we tend to put too much focus on these things when they're not necessarily true. See, your brain creates your reality based on decisions that you make at every moment. And these decisions are basically how you choose and decide to interpret things that happen to you. In the book Psycho-Cybernetics, the author presents many lessons. And one of them is about the story that you tell yourself. And that story is basically the self-image that you create of yourself and ultimately act, because it becomes your path, your blueprint. So if you strongly believe that you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't get in shape for 2020, you're not meant for this, it's just not who you are, you're unable to do this, you can't change, then you'll act accordingly and you'll continue to fail. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It doesn't matter how many smart goals that you make, you're gonna fail if your goal and your self-image are not aligned. The words that you tell yourself are very powerful, both positively and negatively. If you keep bringing yourself down and calling yourself names, you're really just sabotaging yourself and putting yourself for failure. But once you switch the gears and understand that these limiting beliefs are not true, beautiful things happen. In fact, not just beautiful things, but things will happen to you because you're gonna act. And that's gonna be the difference between pondering and acting like a victim and understanding that these things that your mind is telling you are not true. The opposite also applies if you're constantly pushing yourself up and telling yourself that you can do it, and then you find ways to achieve your goals and you face the things that make you insecure. You can actually set yourself to win. It all starts in here. Choosing the right words can really transform how you think, how you feel, and how you act. Take for example Will Smith, who is incredibly successful. I absolutely love him because he's always questioning himself and challenging his own mind. He's always challenging us to do the same thing. And he has this beautiful quote that I would love to share with you. And it goes as follows. The question is not can you handle the situation. The question is, can you handle your mind? Can you manage the thoughts and the emotions that you're trying to poison your progress? Forget managing the situations. Manage your mind. And I think he said that beautifully, because your fears, your insecurities, the negative self-talk, all of that, all those things that you tell yourself, I think they all start right here, right between your ears. By controlling your thoughts, you control your life. So the next time that you face a challenge or your mind is giving you all sorts of limiting beliefs and excuses, understand that none of them are true. You are enough. You have what it takes. You have the resources to find the answers. You can change. You can do it. So don't lie to yourself. Don't be telling yourself things that are not true, like negative thinking, because that can really bring yourself down. And at the same time, don't engage in overly optimistic, positive thinking, because that leads to a delusion that everything is okay when it's really not. So many of us prevent ourselves from experiencing the things we want in life just because we're afraid of negative consequences that our negative self-talk is telling us. And at the same time, a lot of us don't act because we force ourselves to engage in positive thinking, and we believe that things will magically happen for us and things will magically change for us, when the reality is that none of the above is true. Instead of indulging in positive or negative thinking or self-talk, consider neutral thinking. Neutral thinking is about seeing things for what they really are. It's about not dwelling in the past or the lies that your mind is telling you. It's about staying in control by understanding what needs to be done and by doing it. So this is it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful and practical. Not gonna lie, I mean, I'm still guilty of this, but adopting this mindset, kind of working on my self-image, has definitely changed the way that I speak to myself, what I tell myself, and just how I perceive the overall challenges and bad things that happen in my mind. And every time that my mind is kind of saying these negative things and I kind of start going to this negative self-talk, I literally take my mind, I put it aside, I watch it, and I tell it, you know what? Thanks, bro, but me, myself, and I, we're gonna make it regardless of what you say. Okay, thanks, bye. And I hope the same will apply to your life. So thank you for watching.